This is a really good foundational movement for any working with the shoulder and addressing the scapula. So on your back, what I tell my students to do is to find what they perceive as neutral position for the shoulders. What does that mean? So if you take your hands right by your side, what you can do is just notice what's going on in your shoulders and then try and press your shoulders down into the ground. For me, because my shoulders are a little bit tight from all the work I do, what you'll notice is when I press my shoulders down here, my rib cage has to pop up into the air to allow that to happen, which is then creating more bracing in a different area of the spine. We want to try and avoid that, right? Any unnecessary gripping or compensatory patterning, we want to see if we can address. So what I would say is the wider your hands go away from your body, the easier it will be for you to seat your shoulders. So if you watch me, what you'll notice is that as my arms go out to the sides, now my shoulders can easily seat onto the floor without too much effort. And you want to try and engage the entire arm into the ground. So notice that I'm engaging the shoulder, the upper arm, elbow, forearm, and even the palm. If doing this with the palms facing down is really difficult for you, try it with the palms facing up and see how that is. You can do one and not the other, depending on what your shoulders need and whether there's an injury on one side and not on the other. So from here, we are in our neutral position. My arm is engaged, and I'm keeping my scapula and shoulder girdle grounded on the floor. But it is not bracing, and my shoulder blades are not trying to squeeze together, they're broad. From here, keeping this arm engaged, I'm going to inhale to raise the arm over the head, and I'm going to exhale to lower the arm down. For the purpose of this particular exercise, it's not important to me whether you get your arm all the way over the head or not. And to the contrary, if you get your arm over the head and this is what you have to do, you're creating a new bracing pattern that might not be to your benefit for this particular purpose, right? It's not that this is wrong, but our goal is to create space and energy flow, and this is actually going to block it. So what we want to do is figure out how wide does this arm need to go so that I can keep this entire shoulder in contact with the floor all the way down to the wrists, right? You might find for some of you that that is here. For some of you, that might be up here. Some of you might actually find that you have to bend the elbow a little bit. For me, the goal for this context, let's call it a loose goal, is that you're able to have the arm completely straight, right? So as we're going back and forth, inhaling up, exhaling down. Right? You can alternate sides. You can do each side multiple times and then hold on the first side for many breaths. Trying to really get into this, try to keep the rib cage from popping up. Lowering down, observing the difference between the left and right side, then doing the other, and then you can try both at the same time, up and down, same way as before. Really focus on trying to stay engaged in the arms. For a lot of people, the wrists are the hardest part, and you're just really trying to engage these into the floor to the best of your ability.